So Camila ended up in the hands of the kidnappers, who weren't able to change that part. Lynn listened to my story without saying anything. I'm sorry. I wish there was something else I could have done. No, you did the best you could. I'm sure she's alright. After all, she asked me! Eh? Missile, are you in there? Miss Lean, leave Miss Camila to me. I know I don't look like much right now. I'm sure I can help her. Missile? Miss Lean! And gone with the wind. I'm going to leave it up to Missile. It kind of looks like Missile's being left up to the wind. Oh. I have something to give you. Stop the park from being turned into a housing site. Protect the park, Rock of the Gods. Aren't you forgetting your promise? Oh, pardon me. My apologies. This is for you. Oh! You kept the music box safe, didn't you? Thank you. Not at all. I was only doing what the Rock of the Gods would have wanted. Beep. What's the matter? Cat got your tongue? He's memorized all my beauty. I admit you're kind of cute, but oh well. Hey, the cat's not allowed to get your tongue too. Excuse me, but are you? No, it couldn't be. Have we met before? Aren't you that little girl from that time? I'll never forget it. It was 10 years ago in this park. That line. The Leon Kennedy line. 10 years ago? Are you talking about? Have you met the strange young man before, Lynn? I forgot about that. I don't remember, but he said 10 years ago in this park. It can only be one thing I can think of. Looks like I better talk to Mr. Leaflet here. Okay, switch to the other side. Here in this park, the gods surely control fate. Today, 10 years from that day, we meet once again. If that isn't the power of the gods, then what else is it? It could be just coincidence? But apparently you know our lady detective here. Could you tell us about it? About what happened 10 years ago? Yes, of course. I was actually about to do just that. What's the Rock of the Gods you keep mentioning? Don't you know? It's right there in front of us. In a small sad scene here. Missile, Wait a minute. You say G-O-D-S, but do you mean D-O-G-S? Of course not. Don't be silly. This is no time for ridiculous word games. You are standing just above the Rock of the Gods now. Take a good look at that monument. Monument? Rock of the Gods, Timsic Park. Rock of the Gods. The rock is buried in the ground right there. It's been there these 10 years. Ever since that day, it flew down from the heavens and showed us a miracle. A miracle? So this rock you've been talking about is a meteorite? Precisely. It dropped from the sky on that day 10 years ago. Yes, of course. Surely you know all about it. Me? That day, I just happened to be passing through this park. I had no idea this day would change my destiny. The sun was going down, and through the gloom, I heard the scream of a little girl. I think you heard all this before. Cuz, calm down and drop that weapon. Stay back. If you come any closer, I'll shoot there. I peeked out fearfully from the bushes and saw some shadowy figures. I didn't see the face of the criminal clearly. Blah. I knew I should do something to help, but I couldn't move. The tension was so thick, it was painful. Just when I couldn't stand it any longer. That's when it happened. The sky certainly burned bluish white. When it crashed into the ground, the meteorite gave off a shower of beautiful fragments. And then I saw it. One of those beautiful fragments pierced into the criminal's back. The judgment of the gods was brought down on the park that day. Sadly, these people are polytheist. 10 years ago, the little girl that was you was saved by the Rock of the Gods. Oh my, I can't believe it! The Rock of the Gods was given the name Timsic. Still today, lies sleeping deep in the park's earth. Do-do-do! I never knew about this Timsic. I always thought Detective Joad was the one who saved me. You were very young then. And you passed out from the shock of being taken hostage. Of course you couldn't remember. That's funny. A huge incident like that should have caused quite a stir. It's strange you've never heard of it, then. It is, isn't it? But now that I think about it, I remember I didn't want to think about what happened. I avoided the news and never came back to this park again. That's why I didn't know anything about it. The meteorite was named Timsic after the name of this park that it fell in. Then the Rock of the Gods was forgotten. Now an awful thing is happening. They're talking about turning this park into a housing site. I'll never forget the miracle I witnessed that day. So I've taken up residence in this park and I am trying to appeal to the people. Protect the park, Rock of the Gods. That is my mission. I see. I'm taking you with me, Whistle. So, 10 years ago, the little girl that was Lynn wasn't aware of the meteorite. I get that, but Detective Jode, on the other hand, there's no way he didn't know about this Timsic thing. But you find out something really funny about this Timsic thing, though. And if he knew, and the man died, and took his life. What was that confession of his all about? Rock of the gods that fell from the sky 10 years ago changed the destiny of many people's lives, like the ripples of a pond when a pebble is dropped in. With every answer I get, I learn about a new mystery. Will I be able to break the chain of mysteries before dawn? Anyway, now that we have the evidence we need, we decide to meet up again at the minister's office. Besides, there are a few things I want to ask Detective Jode. We found the music box, Detective Jode. Good job, Lynn. I knew you could. As everything had been resolved, I had wanted you to give this to him. Him? You mean Inspector Cabanela, right? I don't suppose he'll ever forgive me. Detective Jode. Now then, let's get this thing open. There's a certain knack to doing it, you know? Ta-da! See? Calls that a knack? Looks more like brute strength to me. Here you are. You should find scorch marks on the grip. Scorch marks? When Camilla built her contraption, she used a special kind of string. It's the kind magicians use. Burns up in an instant and disappears. Why would little Camilla use something like that? I don't know. Maybe because she's a detective's daughter? Not leaving any evidence behind and all that? In the case report, there was mention of some scorch marks. Pretty slick. When it happened, Camilla was watching from her hiding place. She saw the flame run to the gun, something she naturally didn't include in her design. I took the gun out of the frame and replaced it with the picture. If you remove the picture, you should find scorch marks behind it on the frame, too. And those marks should match up with the ones on the gun. In other words, it was a contraption existed there in that room that day. And it didn't work the way your little girl intended. Is that right? Exactly. Some cowardly culprit modified their design. That angle was never brought up in court. And so, Justice Minister must call off the execution at this point. I knew I was right. It wasn't Detective Jode. Now I can finally prove that. Thank goodness. Thank you, Lynn. In those eyes of yours, I see the eyes of that little girl from 10 years ago.